Welcome students. Today we are going to discuss regarding the point nature of management principles. In the previous class we had discussed that how the statements becomes the principles, how the statements get converted into principles, how these principles become exclusively implicable in all the organizations irrespective of the size, nature and type of the organization. We discussed that these principles are not developed overnight. These principles have been emerged by conducting different sequential procedures, steps that are conducted sequentially one after another regarding observation and thorough analysis of the work pattern of the efforts dedicated by the individuals in different organizations, in different departments. And when these statements, these principles are applied on a regular basis in different areas, in different corners, and the results that comes to the organization are same to a maximum extent, then such statements get considered to be the principles. And these principles become the theories and perceptions which are further implemented in the field of management for the achievement of the organizational goal, for attainment of the prospects of the organization. Now, so far this management principle is concerned, so any statement cannot be considered to be a management principle. In order to consider a statement as a management principle, it is utmost necessary that it should possess certain features, certain characters. So far the management principles are concerned, it consists of 7 features. These 7 features, 7 elements are the integral elements of management principles, which certifies, which considers any statement in the field of management as management principles. Firstly, it should be universally applicable. Secondly, it should be a general guideline. Thirdly, it should be evolutionary in nature. This means it must have formed from or formed by the practice and experiments which are conducted in the field of management. Further, it should be flexible. Well, students, fourthly, it should be flexible or dynamic in nature. It is an important and significant characteristics of the management principles, and in the sequence, it must be behavioral in nature. Further, it should be based on cause and effect relationship. And the last but not the least point, that includes the character of being contingent, being dependent. So we will discuss all these points sequentially one after another in today's lecture. So it is utmost necessary, utmost important to understand what are the different points and what are the essential concepts that affirms and creates the statement or converts the statements into purposeful management principles. First is universal application. Let us now discuss regarding the universal application of the statements. Here, when we are talking about the principles of management, these principles of management or the statements which are considered to be the principles of management need to be universal in nature. So these principles of management should be universal in nature. It means that they can be applied in all types of organizations, in all type of concerns, irrespective of their size, irrespective of their nature, irrespective of the type of the business. So when these principles or say statements related to the management perception are applied in different organization, in all the organization, irrespective of their size, irrespective of their nature, irrespective of their type, then it is obvious that different type of or various responses will come, various situations will arise, and under that situation the manipulation, the change of such statements, change of such principles becomes possible. So universal application is a very consistent and important and significant feature and first feature of the management principle. So wholeheartedly किसी भी statement को हम management principle नहीं कह सकते. Management principles होने के लिए सबसे पहला और प्रमुख फीचर होना चाहिए कि वो यूनिवर्सली एप्लीकेबल हो, वो हर सिचुएशन में एप्लीकेबल हो, हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एप्लीकेबल हो. जहां अलग अलग कंडीशंस में, अलग अलग सिचुएशंस में हम इन एप्लीकेशंस को यूज करें, इन प्रिंसिपल्स को अडॉप्ट करें, और अगर सिचुएशन हमारे अगेंस्ट हो या रिवर्स सिचुएशन क्रिएट होता हो तो वहां हम मैनिपुलेशन कर सकें, हम चेंजेस कर सकें, हम संशोधन कर सकें, परिवर्तन कर सकें, जिससे कि हमारे रिजल्ट्स, हमारे आउटकम्स हमारे फेवर में क्रिएट हो. तो ऐसा यूनिवर्सल एप्लीकेबिलिटी अगर होती है किसी भी स्टेटमेंट में, तो उस स्टेटमेंट को हम मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल का दर्जा देते हैं, मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल का प्लेटफॉर्म देते हैं. सो नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द रिजल्ट्स. हमने कहा कि रिजल्ट्स विल वैरी, रिजल्ट्स मे वैरी, and applications may be modified, applications may be converted, but these are always suitable for all types of organization in every type of concerns. So far the universal applicability is concerned, let us take an example. If the principle of division of labor can be applied to all the organizations and it results in specialization, then the degree of specialization may vary depending upon the nature and type of the organization. I said if the division of labor principle is applied in different organizations at the same time. So it is not true, it will not be absolute to say that all the organizations will give the same result, same response at the same time. So there is a chance of variation. There is a possibility of variation. And whenever there will be a variation, good morning, dear student. Just mute yourself and cooperate in the lecture. Don't create noise and disturbances. It creates chaos and confusion. So now, so I was discussing that is universal applicability is an important feature, important aspect, and we were taking an example that the division of labor, if applied in an organization, then it is not necessary then that all the organizations will give the same response. सब बराबर response नहीं देंगे. There may be a variation, there may be a change, and such changes are resulted, are created not due to, who is this Gupta ji? Can I know your name? Gupta ji, talk to me. Gupta ji, रिस्पॉन्ड करिए हमें.
Yes, sir.
What is your full name?
Sorry, sir. I just by mistake I joined this meeting.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So now the question arises about the universal applicability. So here the principle of division of labor will be, if it is applied, it may give different consequences, it may give different responses, and such responses arises in the organization due to the different size and different type and nature of the organization. So size and nature of the organization also affects, also influences the consequences and results. Well, students, my voice is clear to you? आवाज जा रही है बेटा? Yes, sir. Okay. Now proceed with our lecture. So we discussed in this example that the results and consequences may vary. Akansha, mute yourself. So results and consequences will vary depending upon the nature and size of the organization. And universal applicability shows that the statements, the principles can be applied in all type of organizations irrespective of the nature, size and type. Now let us move to the very second point to be discussed here, general guidelines. Guidelines मतलब क्या होता है? दिशा निर्देश. तो स्टेटमेंट्स एक दिशा निर्देशक का काम करते हो, ये फीचर अगर होता है उसमें किसी भी स्टेटमेंट में बिजनेस का एक्सपर्ट्स के, तो उन स्टेटमेंट्स को अप्लाई किया जा सकता है और या कैटेगराइज किया जा सकता है, मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स का दर्जा दिया जा सकता है। तो देखते हैं जनरल गाइडलाइंस में क्या चीजें हैं, क्या कॉन्सेप्शन है। So if we talk about the management principles are not static. ये आप दिमाग में रखें, these are not absolute in nature, these are not static in nature. These statements are flexible in nature, changeable in nature. Because why so? Because we discussed in the beginning that the principles which have been created, which have been generated as per the experts, as per the specialists in the field of management, has not come out overnight. It has been existing, or it has come in existence due to the continuous and frequent efforts that have been dedicated by the experts, by undergoing observations, by conducting repeated experiments, deep observations. The conclusions have come out, and that gets converted into principles. And these principles are not static, not rigid, not absolute in nature. So this cannot be applied blindly in all the situations. किसी भी सिचुएशन में हम blindly किसी भी प्रिंसिपल को अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते या किसी भी स्टेटमेंट को एग्जीक्यूट नहीं कर सकते. So the applicability of the management principles basically depends on what? Depends on the conditions and the nature of the organization. संस्थागत व्यवस्था क्या है, कंडीशंस क्या है, संस्था का नेचर क्या है, किस टाइप के प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, क्या वो लग्जरी आइटम प्रोड्यूस करता है, क्या वो कॉमन गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करता है या नॉर्मल गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करता है या वो इंफीरियर गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करता है, इन चीजों से भी अफेक्टेड होता है. हम ब्लाइंडली किसी भी चीज को एग्जीक्यूट नहीं कर सकते. सो द मैनेजर्स ऑलवेज applies the principles according to the size, according to the nature of the business, keeping in mind what? Keeping in mind the requirements of the organization. संस्थागत जरूरतें क्या हैं, आवश्यकताएं क्या हैं और किस टाइप का हम प्रोडक्ट में डील कर रहे हैं, हमारा प्रोडक्ट क्या है, हमारा नेचर ऑफ बिजनेस क्या है, हमारा परसेप्शन क्या है, हमारे साइज एंड स्केल ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या है. ये सारी चीजों को दिमाग में रखते हुए कोई भी स्टेटमेंट, कोई भी प्रिंसिपल्स को हम एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं, इंप्लीमेंट करते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें लगता है तो हम इंप्लीमेंट कर देंगे. नो, वी हैव टू लुक आफ्टर द रिक्वायरमेंट, वी हैव टू लुक आफ्टर द सिचुएशन, वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड the requirements of the company concerned as a manager, as an intellect. Then only we can execute the right principle in the right time, in a right way, which will create right results to the organization. Now, management principles are what? It are the guidelines. It gives the guidelines to solve the problems. And these principles do not provide ready-made solutions to the problems that get created in the organization. So these principles shows you the right path, shows you the right track. It acts as a guideline in order to resolve the problems created internally in the organization in a particular situation. So if we are going to take an example to understand these general features of general guidelines, let me tell you, fair remuneration. If the question is we are trying to give, or we want to give, requirement in the organization is to give fair remuneration to the employees. Now, for a multinational company, the fair salary, fair remuneration, fair reward may be 50,000 rupees per month. But for a small organization or a medium scale organization, 5,000 might be the sufficient and fair remuneration for the employees. So here, it depends upon the financial strength, financial capacity of the company concerned, of the organization as a whole, that what need to be given as a reward, as a return, as a remuneration to the employees. So the concept, perception of fair remuneration cannot be according to the ideas and ideologies of the intellects working in the middle level as the manager or as the superiors. So here, it is utmost necessary that we have to abide the financial terms, conditions and situations prevailing in the organization and